Remembering a dreadful day in American history. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Well, today marks the second anniversary of the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. This morning, the House of Representatives held a moment of silence to reflect on that day, the lives lost, and the people responsible. Mainly, Democrats took part, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
As we mark this solemn day, let us draw strength and inspiration from the timeless words of President Lincoln. In his message to Congress he offered in the heat of the Civil War, he said, "We cannot escape history," and he called upon Congress to honor our sacred duty to nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope on earth, which he believed was American democracy. That is our task today, too, so help us God.
Maryland Congressman Steny Hoyer called the insurrection one of the darkest episodes in our nation's history. Meantime, President Biden this afternoon honored several Capitol Hill police officers for their heroic actions on January 6th. Well, the former chair of the Prince George's School Board speaks out about Dr. Monica Goldson's pending retirement as CEO. While Dr. Alvin Thornton commends her decades of public service, like Goldson, he too is concerned about ongoing school board conflicts. Thornton says there is a triage of conflicts which include General Assembly expectations, community involvement, and those who serve on the board.
There's insufficient public involvement in the board process. There's insufficient, I think, oversight and review on the part of the elected officials at the state level. And I think there is of the roles that board members should play and must play in the governance of public education. Now, we must bring all those things together. This is a critical moment for us to bring them together because this should be a high point for Prince George's County.
And Thornton says he remains hopeful that with incoming Governor Wes Moore, who has pledged his support for the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, that a large portion of funding for the plan will be going to Prince George's County. Meantime, County Executive Angela Alsobrooks is praising Goldson for her long and dedicated service to the school district. She says that she aims to find a replacement before Goldson leaves her post this summer. Meantime, the County Teachers Union says there should be a nationwide search for a successor. Union President Dr. Donna Christie says the new CEO should have high standards.
I really want somebody who's very data forward, who's going to look at the data, see where the problem areas are based on the data, and then make decisions based on what works, what doesn't work, and make decisions, based on what's going to be in the best interest for our students as well. We want a mindset that takes into account that we have a very diverse population with a lot of needs, a lot of second language learners, being sensitive to those issues, our special needs students, being very restorative in their approach to school discipline. And we have a lot of community schools, so knowledge and understanding of what it means to be a community school as well.
And the new school CEO will be appointed by the county executive. Well, here are the COVID-19 numbers rounding out the week. The state health department has confirmed more than 5,500 new cases this week alone. That includes more than 1,400 over the past 24 hours. The positivity rate is at 18.64%. More than 70 Marylanders have died of COVID this past week, including 13 since yesterday. 896 people are hospitalized, which is nearly double what it was at the beginning of December. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
Welcome back. Well, on the economic front, U.S. employers added 233,000 jobs to the economy last month, with unemployment dropping 0.1 percentage point to 3.5%. The December report suggests that the labor market may be cooling, but in a way that could help the Fed's fight against high inflation. The largest job gains were in healthcare, leisure, hospitality, and entertainment. An environmental group gives the Chesapeake Bay watershed a low D+ health grade, and in its State of the Bay report, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation says polluted runoff is increasing amid inconsistent enforcement from government agencies. The organization says it's particularly concerned about blue crab populations. The report was established in 1998 and is released every 2 years. Prince George's police continue to search for whoever killed a Hyattsville man earlier this week. Investigators have released the name of the victim. He is 39-year-old Melvin Mayorga Hernandez. Police were called to the 2600 block of Kirkwood Place on Wednesday night. That's where they found Hernandez in a parking lot. Police are asking anyone who may have information to give them a call. County Council member at large Calvin Hawkins hosts a special screening of the documentary Lorton Prison of Terror. The film explores life in the former prison complex through firsthand accounts of former inmates, corrections officers, and families of those who were incarcerated. Hawkins was at Lorton from 1983 to 1989 and is encouraging residents to see it.
This is an important experience in the life of particularly African Americans in this area. Somehow, if you lived in the DMV, that you had an opportunity to experience someone or know someone who went through the Lorton prison experience. And this is just a documentary just showing what that was all about, and for that loved one, friend, or someone you may know that have gone through that experience, you have an opportunity to identify with what they were going through, their family, the guards, everyone.
And the screening is set for tomorrow night at 5 o'clock at the Prince George's Community College Center for the Performing Arts. Well, portraits of 2 Marylanders dedicated to public service were unveiled yesterday. The Senate Judicial Proceedings Committee unveiled a new portrait of late Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. Marshall was the first African-American justice, and he served on the nation's high court from 1967 to 1991. Hours earlier, the portrait of outgoing Comptroller Peter Franchot was unveiled. Officials from across the state came to toast Franchot's 36-year political career. Next week, a portrait of outgoing Governor Larry Hogan will be unveiled once again, this time in the governor's reception room of the State House. It currently resides at the governor's mansion. And Governor Hogan announced his final judicial appointments, and they include the first Hispanics to serve on the Prince George's County Circuit and District Courts. They're Darren Johnson and Yamalek Gutierrez. And in all, Hogan has made 190 judicial appointments, which include more female, Hispanic, and Asian judges than any other governor. Other judicial appointments include the first openly LGBTQ person to serve as an appellate chief judge. Hogan says, quote, "I urge the state's leaders, judges, and legal community to continue to build on the work that we've done to add diversity to the bench." And still to come here on CTV News, the Friday Sports Report takes you out to the AC Jordan Arena. Stay with us for highlights.
Us. It's what this country is made of. A helping hand, a shoulder to lean on. Different voices.
Hello.
One sacred bond. But right now, that bond is fraying. Where do we find common ground? How do we get back to us? The why fills the gaps and bridges our divides. Now, more than ever, the why needs your support. Because where there's a why, there's an us. For a better us, support your local Y today.
The Bowie State men's basketball team took on the St. Augustine Falcons last night. In the first half, it was a back-and-forth battle. In the second half, the Falcons were in control most of the way, but Bowie went on a hot streak, scoring 12 straight points to take a 1-point lead. Yet the Falcons clawed back, forced the game into overtime, and took down the Bulldogs 73-64.
We didn't begin the game with any defensive urgency. We didn't guard early. They got a big lead. We had to come fighting back. You can't do that in this conference. At night in and night out, you got to guard and rebound.
And the Bulldogs take on the Claflin tomorrow afternoon at home. Well, the Lady Bulldogs were also on the hardwood last night. They took on the St. Augustine Lady Falcons, and the Bulldogs had a tough going in the first half and were down 33-30 at the break. After halftime, the Lady Bulldogs heated up and went on a 16-0 run. They bested St. Augustine by the final score of 64-54.
I think the biggest difference in the outcome today was us rebounding. Every single person on our team, they crashed the boards. In our last game, we didn't do a good job of rebounding, so we worked on it the entire week, and it was good to see that what we worked on in practice translated to the court.
And the Lady Bulldogs take the court again tomorrow afternoon. Let's get a quick check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear skies, lows around 33 degrees. Tomorrow, it will be sunny with temperatures between the high 20s and the high 40s. It is dropping to be cold again. Sunday, mostly sunny with temps peaking at 42, and Sunday night expect rain showers mixed with snow and temperatures dropping to around 35 degrees. Monday, the rain clears, leaving clouds in the sky and temps ranging between the low 30s and the low 50s. And that is CTV News for now. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Finding life beyond Earth is no longer a dream. It's a discovery that will likely be made during our lifetime, and it will change everything. We are home to over 100 explorer scientists. Our purpose is singular: to understand the origins and prevalence of life and intelligence in the universe, so that we might lay the framework for humanity's next steps to the stars. We are the SETI Institute.
Drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.